What do these hidden caves beneath the Euphrates River reveal, with lower water levels, natural cave formations?
Four angels are bound under the Euphrates River, and when they're released, they will kill 1/3 of mankind.
The Euphrates, that sacred river the Bible mentions over 20 times, has now run bone dry. The waters vanished like some invisible hand is draining the life out of the land that cradled the world's first civilization. The riverbeds cracked open with dark, gaping fissures, heat rising in waves, and what's stirring up from down below isn't just dirt. It's secrets buried for thousands of years. You hear it, don't you? Those sounds echoing from the depths, chains dragging, formless screams. The survey team says they felt the ground tremble, like something massive is trying to break free. Thump, thump. It pulses like the heartbeat of hell itself. Then strange lights appeared. Through the rock crevices, they spotted a glowing hoard, ancient coins, dazzling artifacts. But anyone who touched them fell sick or vanished without a trace. Locals call it the cursed gold, buried to lock away humanity's sins. It doesn't stop there. Digging deeper, they uncovered a chilling sight: gigantic skeletons, over 30 feet long, charred bones, and shattered armor. Some whisper these are the remains of the Nephilim, hybrid offspring of fallen angels and humans, wiped out in the Great Flood, now seemingly rising again with the dying river. At night, people near the Euphrates hear crying, moaning, and roars rising from the earth. Every night, it gets louder, like something's calling out to mankind. And weirdly, the sky above turns pitch black, thousands of locusts, bats, and bizarre creatures blotting out the heavens, a dark shroud over a world gasping its last. All of it, what do you think it is? A dried-up river? An ancient prison underground? Wailing sounds? Giant bones? Nature itself is shaking. Could this be the first sign of the Great Tribulation the Bible foretold? The day the four angels bound at the Euphrates are unleashed to bring disaster on 1/3 of humanity? The Euphrates has stopped flowing, and our time is running out. Take a hard look at what's happening around you, because those ancient prophecies might not be warnings anymore. They're becoming reality. Time's almost up. Are you ready for what's coming? If this stuff rising from the Euphrates gives you chills, hit like so. I know you're still with me on this journey. Share the video with friends. They might need to see what's really going down. And subscribe so you don't miss the next signs, because every week the world drops another warning. Now, stick with me to the end of this video, because you won't believe what's slowly coming into view as the ancient riverbed lays bare. From chains rattling in the dark to glowing strange treasures and massive skeletons, everything's pointing to one single event the Bible talked about. And everything will start with the first sign, when the Euphrates River runs dry. The first sign: the river runs dry. Water, the ultimate symbol of life and nourishment, has now vanished, leaving behind an eerie, deafening silence. The Euphrates, once known as the breath of Mesopotamia, is reduced to cracked, sun-scorched earth, barren under the relentless sun. What once sustained millions now exposes a dead riverbed. They say when a sacred river disappears, history itself starts speaking. And right now, those ancient biblical prophecies are echoing louder than ever. The water of the Euphrates will dry up to prepare the way for the kings from the east. Revelation 16:12. This isn't just religious text. It's the opening signal for what's called the Great Purification. In the Bible, the Euphrates marks the line between life and judgment. When it dries up, the final seals are being broken, and whatever's been locked away in the shadows is about to come back. Pilots flying over the area report ground cracked like it's been drained of all energy, temperatures spiking way beyond normal, and thick haze rising in places like smoke straight out of hell. Some dried-up sections reveal strange layered stone structures, like carved stone gates from thousands of years ago. Plenty of people believe this is exactly where the four fallen angels are bound, as mentioned in Revelation 9:14. Release the four angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates. You know what's crazy? Those lines we thought were just metaphors, they're lining up perfectly with what's happening in real life. As the water recedes, deep rumbling sounds come from underground, like metal clanging, like rusted chains shifting after centuries. Locals say they hear voices crying out in the middle of the night, echoing through the empty riverbed, making the whole area feel like it's holding its breath. Scientists call it normal geological activity, but believers say the seals are breaking, and when those chains finally snap, the four bound angels will be set free, kicking off humanity's judgment phase. No one knows exactly when it'll happen, but all the signs are hitting at once. River gone, ground splitting, heat rising, and that chilling silence before the storm. Is this the first warning? The start of a whole new chapter for mankind? If the Euphrates really is the boundary between heaven and earth, then when it vanishes, maybe that line is disappearing too, and everything hidden for millennia is about to be revealed. And are we even ready for what's coming? The second sign: caves and chains in total darkness. If you're still watching this, you probably feel it too. Something's really shifting, not just out in nature, but deep in the gears of history itself. And trust me, what's coming next, you won't be able to look away. The Euphrates is drying up day by day, exposing layers of earth nobody's touched in thousands of years. And right there in the cracked mud and rock, the survey team found a weird entrance, a massive cave, pitch black, like time itself had sealed it shut. The second they stepped inside, the air turned thick, ice cold, bad enough that even the thermal cameras started glitching. Deep in the rock came clanging metal, the scrape of huge chains being dragged, mixed with screams, raspy, warped, nothing human. The people there said it felt like something in the dark was staring right at them. Then, in the panic, someone quoted Jude 1:6. The angels who did not keep their positions of authority, bound with everlasting chains in the darkness until the day of judgment. Could this be the ancient prison? The spot where the four fallen angels are locked up under the Euphrates? Just like Revelation 9:14 warned, release the four angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates. If that's real, then the river drying up isn't just some natural event, it's a warning. Those echoes from underground aren't just falling rocks. They might be chains rattling. Seismic sensors picked up weird tremors. Some cameras caught faint flashes of light that appeared and vanished in midair. And anyone brave enough to get close to the cave says they heard whispers, like voices calling from the abyss. Theology scholars are speaking up. If those four angels are about to be set free, then the prophecy about Judgment Day might be closer than ever. Put all the signs together: the river gone, cave open, sounds rising, and it's not random anymore. It's a wake-up call. The abyss is stirring, and the darkness is starting to move from its sealed tomb. If those chains are really rattling, then maybe that's not just an echo from the earth. It's the sound of Judgment Day calling. The third sign: the cursed treasure. Ever wonder what makes people trade everything, even their lives, for gold? What if I told you that right beneath the Euphrates, they've uncovered a treasure foretold in both the Bible and the Hadith? And the scariest part? It wasn't meant to bless anyone. It was meant to test humanity. As the ancient riverbed dried up, survey teams found old stone chests covered in dust and weird symbols. Inside, not just gold, but artifacts, screaming power, crowns, jeweled swords, statues of gods, the kind of stuff that brought the Babylonian Empire to its knees. They're calling it the cursed treasure, because ever since it was cracked open, disasters started rolling in. Ground splitting, diggers vanishing, locals fleeing in panic. But maybe the real curse isn't in the stones. It's in human greed. An old hadith warned, "A mountain of gold will rise from the Euphrates, and people will slaughter each other over it, until 99 out of 100 are dead." That prophecy doesn't sound far-fetched anymore, because whenever gold shows up, in any form, people still tear each other apart. Consequences be damned. From oil wars to land grabs to power struggles, every purge in history started with greed. The Bible spells it out in 1 Timothy 6:10, "For the love of money is the root of all evil." And maybe that's why the Euphrates treasure isn't a gift. It's a mirror held up to the human heart. Are we any different from the folks back then, ready to trample each other for a mountain of gold rising from the ruins? Maybe the real end times test isn't destruction from above, but greed burning us alive from the inside. So when the Euphrates runs dry, it's not just rocks that surface, it's who we really are. And that might just be the third sign, a heads up that the Great Purge isn't far off. The fourth sign, giant bones. What if I told you they just pulled bones from under the Euphrates that don't belong to any human? Not myths, not movies, real bones, over 10 feet long, stacked between slabs of 1,000-year-old rock. And maybe this is the creepiest sign of all. When a guilty past rises up to remind humanity, nobody escapes judgment. The deeper the archaeology team went into the riverbed, the more stunned they got. Under the floodlights, massive white bones appeared, arm bones 3 times thicker than a normal person's, elongated skulls like they once belonged to some hybrid race. A few fossilized prints still showed giant footprints, and what sent chills down everyone's spine was how neatly they were arranged, as if someone buried them on purpose. Plenty of experts say these aren't just relics. They're proof of a species that lived alongside humans, the ones the Bible calls Nephilim, offspring of the sons of God and the daughters of men. Genesis 6-4 spells it out. There were giants on the earth in those days. They were the mighty men of old, men of renown. But that power brought sin. When people started worshiping strength and flesh, heaven got angry, and the flood came to wipe every trace away. Now, as those skeletons surface from the Euphrates silt, folks are asking, is history repeating itself? A Bible line rings out like a warning. As in the days of Noah, people were eating and drinking, marrying, until the flood came and took them all. Are we living in a new days of Noah, where people chase power, strut with pride, and forget another purge is coming? Not with water, but with fire? Those giant skeletons aren't just ancient artifacts. They're a message from above that sin runs in cycles, and when the loop closes, judgment starts. Just like the Euphrates drying up, the heavens are pulling back to make way for what was prophesied thousands of years ago. And when the wind whistles through those bare joints, you can almost hear a whisper drifting back. Time's up. The old cycle is closing. The Great Purge is getting real close. The fifth sign, the ancient city rises. Ever heard of a city that vanished into a river, only to be found again after 3,000 years buried in mud? Sounds like a legend, but it's actually happening right now. And if those stone walls could talk, they'd probably tell you about a curse for anyone who dared defy heaven. Don't look away, because this part will make you rethink all of human history, and maybe our own future is being rewritten from it. Back in 2022, in the middle of Kurdistan, where the Tigris River had dried up from brutal drought, ancient stone blocks suddenly appeared. Under meters of silt, archaeologists uncovered the ancient city of Mitanni, complete with walls, palaces, carved statues, and clay tablets written in a forgotten language. Experts are calling it a miracle of time, but people who know the Bible see something else. This isn't just a city, it's a warning dug up from the past. Mitanni was once a mighty empire, so rich it was described in ancient inscriptions as the kingdom of the sun. They worshipped gods of war, believing gold and power were the measure of eternity. But like Ezekiel 28:5-7 says, "Because you were proud of your wealth, I will bring foreigners to destroy you." And that's exactly what happened. They disappeared, wiped off the map, buried in the very river they once bragged about. What really gives researchers chills is the timing of its return. right when humanity is facing global drought, extreme floods, and spreading wars all over again. It's like heaven is flipping back through the old pages, reminding us every empire built on pride falls when the water runs out. Some say this city didn't just appear by chance. It's a sign of the great cleansing coming soon, when everything buried in the past rises up to judge the present. Because every stone, every broken statue isn't just an artifact. It's proof of a divine warning. They thought they'd last forever, until they were forgotten for 1,000 years. Looking at those ruins, you can't help but wonder, are we walking the same path today? Building new empires on tech, money, and power? Forgetting that everything has limits before the Creator? If so, then this ancient city rising isn't just an archaeological event. It's the fifth sign, a wake-up call from deep in the earth, telling humanity, once pride outruns grace, history will bury it all again, just like it did 3,000 years ago. What do you think? Is this just coincidence, or part of a plan set in motion since Genesis? Stick around till the end of the video, because what's coming next might give you goosebumps when you realize the past never really sleeps. The sixth sign, echoes from the earth's core. Ever heard the ground breathe? Not an earthquake, not machinery, just a low, muffled rumble rising from deep beneath the river, like something down there is trying to wake up. If you know about the trumpets of judgment in Revelation, this part will give you chills. People living along the Euphrates say every night the earth lets out these deep, dull booms, sounding like metal clanging together, or a horn from the depths. And the weirdest part? It only happens when the river hits its lowest level ever recorded. As the water keeps dropping, those strange echoes get louder and clearer. At first, everyone figured it was the ground cracking, but recording equipment picked up frequencies with a structure almost like the rhythm of a trumpet. Some believe it's the trumpet of judgment from Revelation 9:15, signaling 4 fallen angels about to be unleashed. The 4 angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates will be released to kill 1/3 of mankind. Revelation 9:15. That verse sat dormant for thousands of years, sounding like pure metaphor. But now, with the whole world watching the river dry up, the ground shaking, and trumpets echoing, people are starting to wonder, are the final seals actually coming undone? Scientists throw out theories left and right. Seismic sound waves, gas venting from deep layers, natural resonance. Yet they can't explain why the noise follows a cycle, or why it only shows up around the Euphrates, the exact river named in the Bible's final prophecy. The sound itself is faint, but it's enough to make your skin crawl. Because if Scripture is right, that trumpet is the opening call for the Great Purge, when the world is no longer judged by water, but by fire. What do you think? Just a natural phenomenon? Or a wake-up call from above? If you want to know what happens after that trumpet, stick around, because the next part reveals the final wonder, where humanity's silence might be the answer heaven's waiting for. The final sign, locusts, demons, and a giant stone gate, not a storm, not clouds. What blotted out the sky that day was billions of pitch-black creatures, thick as smoke, screeching like burning metal. From the air, planes couldn't tell where the wind ended and the wings began. Scientists call it a rare natural phenomenon. But where it started, in the heart of the Rub' al Khali Desert, archaeologists just unearthed a stone gate taller than a 3-story building, carved with a half-human, half-beast figure, wings spread like a living shadow. And when the sun set, the first wave of dust poured from the cavern mouth below. A day later, the sky was gone. That's what you'll witness in the final sign. At dawn, swarms of massive locusts swallowed the light. Their wings clashed like thunder, blacking out the skies over the Middle East. Deep underground, crews found piles of bizarre corpses, half bat, half human, with wings spanning over 6 feet. Some witnesses swear they didn't come from anywhere. They crawled straight out of the cracking earth. Right beside the site, the team uncovered a colossal stone gate, over 30 feet high, covered in ancient script. Etched on its surface, a winged, clawed creature, exactly like Revelation 9:2-3 describes. Smoke rose from the abyss, and the sun and sky were darkened by it. Out of the smoke came locusts upon the earth. A prophecy written thousands of years ago, now playing out in the exact place the Bible pointed to. They're calling the gate the Nephilim portal, the prison of fallen beings from before the flood. Some theologians say if this gate is truly open, it's the opening shot of Armageddon. The war between angels and darkness, between light and sin, is no longer a metaphor. It's about to go live. Scientists are stumped. They blame climate change for the locust swarms, call the underground rumbling natural. But if it's natural, why does it match every detail of ancient prophecy? Why are all the signs converging around the Euphrates, the border between life and the abyss? And when the sky goes dark under the locust wings, people hear a sound like trumpets echoing from afar. That sound makes some look up, others drop to their knees, because they know, if the Nephilim gate is really open, this isn't just the Middle East problem. It's the beginning of humanity's great reckoning. The world is whispering a strange language, from the heart of the earth, the riverbeds, all the way up to the sky. And if you pay attention, every sign, every phenomenon is slowly clicking into place like pieces of an ancient prophecy. Is this no longer coincidence, but a schedule already written? When the Euphrates River starts drying up, thousands of eyes turn to the Middle East. Scientists say it's just the fallout from climate change, from dams blocking the flow. But those who believe the Bible whisper a line written thousands of years ago. When the Euphrates runs dry, the way will be opened for the kings from the east. Revelation 16:12. And sure enough, the riverbed cracks open, revealing a string of things no one saw coming. Ancient bones, buried treasure, lost cities, and even massive stone gates someone tried to hide for 1,000 years. Each fragment, when pieced together, tells a chilling story. A civilization that once strutted in arrogance, calling itself children of the gods, vanished in a single night. They built fortresses to defy the heavens, dug deep bunkers to escape judgment, but in the end, the earth swallowed them whole. Ezekiel's words echo, "Because you were proud of your wealth, I will bring foreigners to destroy you." And then, from the cracked, hardened mud, strange sounds rise up, a low, muffled trumpet, like it's coming from deep underground. No one knows where it's from, but it gives you goosebumps, because in Revelation 9, that very trumpet is the signal that the angels chained in the abyss are about to be released. Researchers try to explain it's just gas escaping, or rocks cracking under the river. But can a simple crack produce a metallic clang, like some gigantic door is swinging open? From those trumpets to swarms of black locusts blotting out the sky, from half-human, half-beast carcasses to stone gates carved with winged figures, it all feels less like legend now, and more like the warning signs of an era we were told was coming, the time of the Great Purge. Smoke rises from the abyss, and from the smoke come locusts upon the earth. Revelation 9:2-3. Anyone watching closely can see it. Every event is a chapter in the book of Revelation, turning page by page. The drying river is the opening. The rising ancient city is a flashback to the past. The trumpet is the wake-up call. And the stone gate may be the point of no return for this world. But the scariest part might not be the signs themselves, but how people keep ignoring them. Instead of looking up, they bow their heads, crunch numbers, argue, and smile while the cracks spread beneath their feet. When people think they can control everything, that's exactly when they're about to lose it all. The prophecies aren't here to spread fear, but to wake up a conscience that's fallen asleep. Because the world won't be destroyed in some random fit of rage, it'll collapse under its own arrogance and greed. From those stones at the bottom of the Euphrates, heaven is knocking. Wake up, because the world's clock is about to strike midnight. It was an Aram. When the water recedes, it's not just the riverbed that shows up, it's the raw soul of humanity laid bare. Every inch of cracked mud, every sun-bleached rock is whispering the same brutal truth. Nothing stays buried forever. No sin can hide under centuries of silt. The Euphrates, the river that cradled the very first human civilization, is down to bare stone. Stuff hidden for thousands of years is crawling into daylight. Giant skeletons, lost treasure, carved stone gates, and signs that make the whole world shiver. But the scariest part isn't what we're finding. It's how quiet everyone's staying while heaven screams a warning. We've spent generations acting like we own the planet. We dam rivers, gut mountains, shoot rockets at the stars. Then the water vanishes. The ground shakes. Blood-red clouds roll in, and every ounce of that swagger turns to dust. The world isn't in danger from earthquakes or droughts. It's in danger from our own arrogance. When we forget where we came from, when cash matters more than faith, that's when the river inside every soul starts running dry. When the water recedes, it's not just the riverbed that shows up, it's the raw soul of humanity laid bare. That line hits like a church bell at 3 a.m., slipping into any heart still willing to listen. Because every one of us has an Euphrates, a private river of belief and kindness, drying up a little more every day. If there's anything to do right now, it's not Googling for answers. It's dropping to your knees. Pray every single day, not to dodge judgment, but to find peace while the storm rages. Be grateful. Do good. Even the tiniest act of kindness is cool water poured on a parched world. Say sorry while you still can. Say I love you. Sometimes salvation doesn't come with thunder. It comes wrapped in mercy. Trust God, the only one who can pull us out of the pit we dug ourselves. Only faith can carry us through the great cleansing, when money, power, and PhDs won't save a faithless soul. When the 4 angels are unleashed, when the last trumpet finally sounds, will we even have time to hit our knees? Or will we keep chasing fake neon until the dark swallows us whole? The Euphrates is drying up, and so is human pride. The clock's ticking loud. The signs are neon bright. The only choice left is wake up or keep snoring inside a lie. If you feel in your gut this isn't random, drop a little signal below this video. A like, a share, a subscribe. It's not just support. It's you passing the wake-up call farther down the line. Because somewhere out there, somebody needs to hear this exact second. While the Euphrates runs dry and the sky loads the final trumpet, let faith be the one river still flooding your heart.
Quite a sight in the Sahara Desert. One of the driest places on Earth has flooded.
What is this bizarre spiral in the Sahara? A natural wonder? A giant strip mine?
There's our giant human being.
Try and put myself here for reference.
What is going on? In the heart of the land that for centuries has been called the place where no life can exist, something unimaginable has happened. The Sahara Desert, the symbol of death, of drought and decay, suddenly trembled. From a sky that knew only scorching sun, dark clouds rolled in, and a ferocious rain poured down. Not just a few scattered drops, but torrents that turned sand into rivers, split the earth open, and the world began to fall silent. Those who witnessed it said they felt as if something was awakening beneath their feet. The ground shook, the wind shifted direction, and seismic monitors kept flashing abnormal signals. On radar screens, strange spirals appeared, defying every known weather pattern ever recorded. Scientists scrambled for answers, but the deeper they dug, the more they uncovered things that shouldn't exist in this desert. Ruins, remnants, and sounds echoing from deep within the earth, like whispers from a forgotten era. And as the final lightning bolt tore across the Sahara sky, someone said, "This isn't just rain. This is the first sign." Could it be that the desert is speaking? And its words, are there warnings before the Lord returns? If you sense something truly happening around us, don't forget to hit like to spread this message to more people. One small click, but it might help wake up many before it's too late. And if you want to walk with us, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the strange signs gradually unfolding in this age. Because what you're about to see is not just phenomena, but pieces of a prophecy being fulfilled. From rain in the dead desert to lights in the night sky, everything is saying the same thing. Now, let's dive deeper with me to uncover the bizarre phenomena that have unfolded right in the heart of the Sahara Desert, a place that's nothing but sand. First sign, the desert sky, dead for 50 years, suddenly pours rain, a phenomenon that left scientists speechless. People have always believed the desert is a forgotten land, where not a single raindrop dares to visit. Yet in recent weeks, the sky has torn open. Rain has hammered down on Morocco, Algeria, and Mauritania, fierce as if heaven itself is trying to rouse a region that slumbered for half a century. Waters rise, sweep through the parched sand, blurring the line between death and life. Satellite images from NASA have stunned scientists. Vast swaths of the Sahara, once dubbed the driest heart on Earth, now streaked with green for tens of kilometers. The ancient Lake Igui, thought to be nothing more than a geological legend, has miraculously been reborn. Each cracked grain of sand is slowly drinking in water, as if the ground is breathing again for the first time in 50 years. What has brought a dead land back to life? Climate change? Or is some invisible hand orchestrating it all? NASA data shows these shifts fall outside normal natural cycles. Temperature, humidity, groundwater levels, everything has surged far beyond any forecast model. It's as if nature is replaying a script written long ago. And in the Bible, the prophet Isaiah once said, "Waters will break forth in the wilderness and streams in the desert." Isaiah 35:6. That ancient line now echoes in reality when sand turns to water and water becomes testimony. Is this mere coincidence or a sign heralding the return of the Creator? Rain in the desert sounds like a miracle, but it's also a warning. When the driest places start to sprout, it may not just be nature's doing, but a message from above. A reminder that, in a world drying up in faith, grace can still pour down at the right time, in the right place, for those who know to look up. Because sometimes, the wonder isn't in thunder or volcanoes, but in the gentle rain touching a place once deemed hopeless. And that may be the first bell, signaling a journey of awakening, drawing humanity closer to the day the heavens open once more. Second strange sign, an ancient river beneath the sand suddenly awakens. What is the desert hiding? After the bizarre rain in the desert, it seemed the story had ended. But as the wet soil began to dry, something no one expected emerged. Long, winding streaks, etched deep into the sand, like traces of a life that had slumbered since time immemorial. The sky didn't just revive the desert, it awakened what had been buried for thousands of years. Radar images from the European Space Agency, ESA, left scientists stunned. A vast network of ancient rivers appeared, stretching hundreds of kilometers beneath the Sahara. These waterways once nourished forests, animals, and humans, before the entire continent turned to sand. The sinuous shapes of the old riverbeds form a hidden map, leading back to a time when the Sahara wasn't a wasteland, but Earth's green paradise. From this, a shocking hypothesis emerged. The Sahara may once have been Africa's Garden of Eden, where the first humans lived amid dense forests and clear lakes. If that's true, is heaven now reopening a door sealed for millennia? Are these ancient rivers rising not just geologically, but as a sacred signal, reminding humanity that what was lost can be restored? In the Bible, the book of Genesis describes 4 rivers flowing from Eden, spreading life across the world. Now, as ancient waters suddenly surge in the driest place, one can't help but shudder and wonder, is that prophecy slowly coming true? Are the things buried deep beneath the sand not just relics, but signs that heaven is preparing for the Creator's return? In a chaotic world where faith seems as depleted as the desert, the rebirth of these ancient rivers means more than a scientific discovery. It's a call, reminding people that invisible currents are still quietly waiting to be awakened. And when water begins to flow where it was once most barren, that may mark the start of a new era, where grace begins to revive, and heaven starts speaking to humanity once more. Third wonder, the giant eye in the desert opens after rain, revealing the ruins of Atlantis. From space, amid the endless sea of sand in Mauritania, a giant eye gradually comes into view, perfectly round, so flawless it leaves scientists baffled. When rare rains sweep across the Sahara, thick layers of sand are washed away, exposing massive concentric circles like an eye opening wide to stare straight at the sky. It's called the Eye of Sahara. But the bigger question is, who is looking through it? With a diameter over 40 kilometers, the Richat structure was once thought to be just the result of natural erosion. But as rainwater reveals strange cracks, explorers discover an underground tunnel system beneath, along with ruins and rock carvings dating back more than 10,000 years BC. Those traces seem to tell of a vanished civilization, a place that once thrived, then was suddenly swallowed in a catastrophic event. Researchers start comparing geological data with Plato's ancient descriptions. He wrote of a circular city built around concentric canals, buried after a great flood. When satellite images are placed beside the accounts in Timaeus and Critias, every detail matches in a chilling way. Could this be the legendary Atlantis, the city of the gods, which once defied heaven and was drowned in divine wrath? Scientists try to explain. It might just be a natural geological phenomenon, a bizarre coincidence. But the ancient carvings, man-made pathways, and traces of metallurgy hidden deep under the sand make it hard to believe it's all random. Could an invisible hand have left a message here that what happened in the Bible is repeating in a different form? In Genesis, heaven once swept the world clean with water to restore righteous order. Now, the Eye of Sahara rises like a warning. History doesn't just remember, it watches. Each concentric circle is like the Earth's heartbeat, slow but never stopping its gaze. And perhaps in that silent stare, heaven is watching humanity, preparing for the moment when every eye will see him. Revelation 1-7. The sand still shifts, but that eye never closes. It seems to follow every step of mankind, reminding us that beneath every inch of this land, history is breathing, and what we thought was asleep might be about to wake. The fourth sign, the Sahara sky glows in the night, a light phenomenon not of this earth. In the silent dead of night over the Sahara, where for hundreds of miles there's nothing but wind and sand, something strange happened. Against the empty sky, specks of light began to move, slowly at first, then speeding up, then stopping dead. No sound, no trajectory, no explanation. They appeared as if scanning the ground and vanished in a blink. Eyewitnesses recounted they weren't meteors, and they sure weren't planes. They saw us. Videos spread like wildfire across social media, pulling in scientists and astronomers alike. The European Space Agency, ESA, confirmed no object matched the coordinates of the phenomenon. NASA ruled out satellites or meteorites. Everything was too precise, too orderly, like a hand guiding it from beyond Earth. From Africa to the Middle East, similar lights were recorded, even appearing simultaneously across 3 countries at the exact same hour. Some claimed it was atmospheric plasma, but no lightning was detected. Meteorologists shook their heads. It can't be natural. That thing knew how to move. And then, the part that sent chills down spines, when pastors and Bible scholars spoke up. They called it the sign of the heavenly host, moving lights in the night sky, just as written in Luke 21:11. There will be strange signs in the sun, moon, and stars. And here on earth, the nations will be in turmoil, perplexed by the roaring seas and strange tides. They believe this isn't just a warning, but the opening message of the age of judgment, a pastor in Ghana said through tears. As that light passed over my head, I felt someone watching all of humanity. His words silenced millions, because it wasn't just personal testimony. It was an echo from the depths of the human spirit. Are we being seen from heaven? The Sahara sky is no longer just darkness and stars. It has become the curtain lifted between two worlds, where heaven and earth touch. And as those specks of light keep returning, brighter, closer, who dares say they aren't the first footsteps of the heavenly army preparing for the day when every knee shall bow? Romans 14:11. Fifth sign, the earth's depths emit a bizarre trumpet sound, vibrations shaking the entire desert. In the arid desert, where one might expect only wind and sand, people began to hear a bizarre sound, low, deep, and prolonged. It wasn't machinery, not thunder, nor wind. The sound rose from the earth's core, like a distant trumpet echoing, making witnesses shiver and stand frozen in the vast expanse, where only the invisible trumpet resounded through the Sahara night. The geological research team's recording devices captured ultra-low frequencies, propagating dozens of kilometers through thick sand layers. The sound lasted for many minutes before vanishing, leaving an atmosphere of suffocating silence. Some scientists suggest it could be the result of tectonic plate shifts, but strangely, no seismic activity occurred before or after, just the trumpet, ringing out, then dissolving into nothingness. NASA once released a similar phenomenon in Alaska, dubbed sky trumpets, sounds emanating from the sky or the ground with no identifiable source. Many places worldwide have recorded it: Canada, Germany, China, and now the Sahara. Each time it occurs, the frequency differs, but the melody, if it can be called that, retains an indescribable terror, like a warning from depths humanity cannot reach. Some biblical scholars insist this is no longer a coincidence. In Revelation 8, it is written, "And the 7 angels who had the 7 trumpets prepared to sound them." Many believe that sound is the first echo of those heavenly trumpets, signaling the moment the world is about to enter an unprecedented chain of upheavals, when heaven opens and the Savior prepares to return. Even more terrifying, some witnesses claim they heard sounds like human sighs in the wind, mingling with the ground's faint tremors. Some looked up at the sky, others knelt to the earth, all sharing one feeling: someone, deep down there, is awakening. Is it merely the shifting of sand and soil, or the final warning humanity hears before the curtain falls on history's drama? When the last trumpets have begun to resound from the earth's depths, the most frightening question is no longer where that sound comes from, but how much time we have left before the sky answers back. The final sign: giant human bones emerge after rain, clues to a forgotten race. Under the scorching red sun of the dead sands, gusts of wind whip up layers of fine dust, and from the depths below, something enormous seems to be slowly revealing itself. Not animal fossils, not remnants of prehistoric creatures, but human bones. Fragments so massive they leave archaeologists speechless, while locals are gripped by panic, fear, and doubt. Could something have lain dormant for thousands of years beneath these sands? Blurry photos leaked online, showing skeletons over 3 meters tall, with gigantic skulls and arm bones like stone pillars. Some call it proof of the Nephilim, the half-god, half-human beings mentioned in Genesis 6:4. When the sons of God came to the daughters of men, and they bore children to them, the mighty men who were of old, men of renown. But others say it's just coincidence, or a sophisticated hoax. Yet the truly chilling part is, many of these discovery sites align with lands recorded in ancient Egyptian, Babylonian, and Canaanite inscriptions, places where it was believed the giants fell during the Great Flood. Could it be that the history we've been taught is only the surface of a truth hidden for millennia. Experts from NASA and the Arab Archaeological Institute say the soil layers in the area show signs of violent upheaval, as if some immense force once burst the ground from within. Theologians note that these reports eerily match Revelation 9:2, where the shaft of the abyss was opened and smoke rose like the smoke of a great furnace. Could it be that what's buried in the sand is beginning to awaken as a final warning? When the giants of old, symbols of pride and rebellion, rise again, it may signal that the world is nearing the end of its cycle. And if this is real, then that sand isn't just hiding bones, it's holding memories of sin, the fall, and an entire chapter erased from human history. A chapter that may be about to reopen, as the Creator prepares to return and finish what He once began. There are moments when the earth seems to hold its breath. Sand is no longer just sand, wind no longer just wind, but becomes the whisper of something ancient, profound, and terrifying. 6 strange signs in succession are no longer a chain of random events. They are weaving into a grand picture, and in that picture, there is the hand of the One who created all things. From the glowing sky over the desert of death, to the deep, resonant sounds like trumpets from the heart of the earth, from rain falling where the land has never known water, to the bodies of giants rising beneath the sand. Everything is reminding humanity, Earth is not just a planet, but a living being with a soul. And now, that soul is stirring, groaning, and calling the name of the Creator. Science can measure frequencies, analyze weather patterns, build geological models, but it cannot explain why everything is happening right now, in sequence, and in the very lands mentioned in the Bible. The sky trumpets in Alaska, the sourceless streaks of light in the Sahara, the blood-red lakes in the desert. Could these all be the trumpets of the 7 angels in Revelation 8? If viewed through the eyes of reason, this could be climate change, the consequences of nature. But if viewed through the eyes of the soul, they match chillingly with prophecies written thousands of years ago. In Matthew 24:7, the Lord says, "There will be earthquakes in various places, famines, and signs in the heavens." And indeed, from the depths of the earth to the clouds, it seems every layer of creation is sounding the same message. Recall Genesis 6-4, where the giants were on the earth when the sons of God came to the daughters of men. Now, as massive bones are unearthed in the desert, is history repeating itself? Could what was buried by the flood in Noah's time now be rising with the dust, as a warning that the era of human pride is closing? And then, from deep within the desert, these mysterious phenomena begin to connect, like puzzle pieces. The dried-up Euphrates River, where Revelation 16:12 says, "Its water was dried up to prepare the way for the kings from the east," is now truly running dry to the bedrock. Mountains shake, the ground cracks, and strange sounds echo from far below. Science calls it low-frequency seismic activity, but to the faithful, it is the call of heaven. No one knows exactly what is coming, but every phenomenon, from water, fire, earth, wind, is speaking in unison. Barren deserts now bloom, seas rage without storm season, skies show beams of light no radar detects. Each sign is a reminder, nature is on alert. This is not just the random workings of nature, but the heartbeat of the earth pulsing to the trumpets of Revelation. When lands once dead suddenly revive, when light rises in darkness, that is when humanity must pause, listen, and ask, where are we in the grand plan of the Creator? Scientists speak of climate cycles, magnetic fluctuations, and infrasound waves. But the faithful hear something else, a call of the age, a heavenly trumpet blast, signaling the imminent return of the one who promised, "I will come like a thief in the night." 1 Thessalonians 5:2. When sand learns to weep, when the earth trembles, when the sky burns red, it is not the end, but a wake-up call, a reminder for humanity to look inward, to reclaim what was lost in the race for power and possessions. Because before the world collapses, heaven always knocks first. Perhaps it's all just natural phenomena, but perhaps it's the final reminder that humanity cannot forever stand above the Creator, and that every civilization, no matter how glorious, must ultimately bow before His unseen hand. That day is drawing near, the day when the desert will no longer be silent, the sea no longer calm, and humanity must choose, believe or remain blind. When nature rises, prophecy is no longer ink on a page, but reality surrounding us. Thus, every storm, every sound, every crack in the earth could be a bell tolling the dawn of a new age. A dawn not for those who hide, but for awakened souls ready to welcome His return. It might just be the climate, but it might be a warning. When nature awakens, humanity must learn to kneel. Perhaps the most frightening thing is not the strange signs appearing, but the silence in the human soul before the warnings from heaven. When the sky trembles, when the earth roars, and when inexplicable things are happening everywhere, how many of us pause, listen, and ask ourselves, could it be that He is calling my name? The Bible records in Revelation 3:3, "Remember therefore what you have received and heard. Hold it fast and repent. But if you do not wake up, I will come like a thief, and you will not know at what time I will come to you." Those words are not a threat, they are a bell, ringing out in a world sinking into chaos, to remind us that salvation is not far away. It begins right within our own hearts. Awakening doesn't mean abandoning everything, fleeing the world, or escaping to the mountains and forests. Awakening is living in the world, but not belonging to it. It's waking up each morning, grateful that we still have time to make amends, to love, to do good. It's bowing our heads in prayer each night, giving thanks for the trials and apologizing for the things we haven't done perfectly. Start with the smallest things. A sincere prayer, even if brief, can still reach heaven. A good deed, no matter how small, is enough to light the way for someone who is lost. When you help someone who is hungry, when you forgive instead of holding a grudge, when you choose silence to preserve peace, you are laying a stone on the path leading to the kingdom of heaven. Faith is not a charm to avoid suffering, but a lamp to guide us through the storm. In this age of upheaval, faith in Him is the only thread keeping us from being swept away. Whenever fear strikes, remember, God has not abandoned us. We are the ones who have walked away from Him. He does not seek the perfect. He seeks souls that know how to repent. No matter how many times you've stumbled, fallen, or wandered in darkness, He still stands with open arms. In Isaiah 1:18, the Lord says, "Though your sins are like scarlet, they shall be as white as snow." That is the promise of forgiveness, unconditional, as long as we return. Some think the last days mean the end of the world, but for those with faith, it is not an ending, but the beginning of a new era, where the soul meets again, the one who created it. And to be ready for that moment, we need neither power nor wealth, only a pure heart and a humble spirit. Train your soul to say thank you, even when things don't go as planned. Thank you for the storm, for the pain, for the failures. For all of them are lessons heaven sends to shape us. And learn to say, "I'm sorry," to others, to yourself, and to Him, because sometimes a single apology can free a soul from the prison it built for itself. If every day you take just a few minutes to listen to your heart, to pray in silence, or simply to whisper, "Lord, I am grateful that you have given me another day to live," in that very moment, you are already walking the path back to Him. Let His light shine through the small things you do. A smile for a stranger, a hand extended to someone who has fallen, a prayer for someone in pain. Those are the miracles of everyday life. Miracles that need no blazing light in the sky, only a heart that knows how to love. The Lord is coming, not to punish, but to fulfill what He has promised. But He will come to those who are ready, those who bow their heads in faith, who live gently, who love even when the world is cold. As in Matthew 25:13, "Therefore keep watch, because you do not know the day or the hour." This world may shake, The seas may roar, the skies may darken, but if there is light in our hearts, darkness cannot swallow us. Make your soul that lamp, the lamp of faith, of love, and of watchfulness. For when he returns, he will not ask how much we achieved, but how much did you love? He will not ask how many you defeated, but how many did you forgive? Awakening is not waiting for a miracle, it is becoming a miracle. It is living so that every breath, every action, every word carries the warmth of compassion. It is letting the world look at us and see the light of heaven is still shining through every person who lives true to their faith. And when that day comes, when the heavens open, when the final trumpet sounds, those who have kept their hearts pure will not tremble. They will smile because they know they are ready. Start today with a prayer, a good deed, a grateful heart. For in a world that sleeps, only those who are awake will hear the call of heaven. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Matthew 5-8. The desert is not just coming back to life, it is speaking. Amid the dust and white bones, a voice echoes from the dawn of creation, reminding humanity where our roots come from and where we will return. If we stop, if we listen deeply, we will realize time is running out. Every sign from the heavens, the earth, and the hearts of men is weaving the same message. Wake up, return before every door closes. And if you feel it, if your heart is stirring at the signals from heaven, please share this video, like it, and subscribe to the channel so that together we may open our eyes, see clearly, and walk together in His light before the night falls too deep.
Okay.
But there is a giant truck ahead of us.
Okay.
Let's see if I can drive over it.
All right.
Worship not only to Yahweh, to the true and living God of Israel, but to false gods.
Over which the arches that Emperor Adrian built as a...
The ground shakes. A strange light tears through the night sky. And right beneath Jerusalem, seismographs start picking up a steady pulse, like a human heartbeat, coming from deep within the ancient bedrock. No one can figure out what's happening, but everyone feels it. Something is waking up. From the temple to Shiloh, phenomena follow one after another. Smokeless fire, sounds echoing in midair, ancient wells suddenly warm and glowing like crystal. Science is baffled. The faithful drop to their knees in prayer, and archaeologists, who thought they were used to history's silence, now face a mystery they can't explain. The signal appears, then vanishes. The light flashes, then fades. All that's left is a chilling echo. This isn't natural. Could an ancient prophecy be unfolding right under the holy city? Or is it just coincidence, a meaningless chain of vibrations? Jerusalem stays silent, but the sky doesn't. And this time, it seems like heaven is truly speaking. If you're sensing the world changing in a very strange way, come with me on this journey. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because what's coming isn't just information. It might be a sign of something much bigger. Every video is a piece of the puzzle, and when they come together, the picture might send shivers down your spine. And now, brace yourself, because beneath Jerusalem, where prophets once walked, where centuries have been sealed away, researchers have just detected a strange signal. No one knows what it is, or why it's appearing now. All we know is, from that moment on, the silence is gone. We'll uncover together the mysterious discoveries buried beneath Jerusalem for thousands of years. First discovery. Mysterious gate warns not to awaken what lies deep beneath the temple. Amid Jerusalem's sun and wind, an international research team quietly works below the Temple Mount area, the most sensitive spot on Earth. They use AI scanning and quantum radar to survey ancient foundations, checking for structural layers at risk of collapse over time. During a routine scan, the system suddenly detected a perfectly symmetrical structure about 18 meters underground. It looks like a gate of stone and metal, completely intact despite millennia of erosion around it. Analysis shows the metal alloy doesn't match any material ever found in the ancient region. On the surface, faint ancient carvings were first thought to be scratches, but under UV light the words stand out. This is the gate not to be awakened. The phrase stunned the team. No one dares claim its true meaning, yet some biblical scholars suggest it may tie to the eastern gate mentioned in Ezekiel, where the glory of the Lord will pass when he returns. Ezekiel 43:1-4. The site has since been temporarily sealed for deeper study. A few engineers say seismic sensors picked up rhythmic vibrations, but the data isn't conclusive yet. Everything remains speculation, yet it's enough to spark global curiosity. What else lies sealed beneath the Temple Mount? Jerusalem, the city of prophets, once again has the world looking up in awe and wonder. Second discovery, miracle at Shinon, where ashes remain, the spirit has not died. Amid the parched hills of Ephraim lies a hill forgotten for thousands of years. Locals call it Shinon, a place few realize is the very edge of Shiloh, where the Ark of the Covenant once rested and where God spoke among Israel. Recently, as the Tel Aviv University archaeology team drilled deeper into the bedrock, they had no idea they were touching something that could shake the history of faith. More than 2 meters down, they uncovered a scorched limestone gate, charred wood fragments, and a layer of black ash mixed with fragrant oil. Scientists analyzed it and confirmed the ash contains frankincense and pure olive oil compounds, matching the description in Leviticus 2:1-3 of the fragrant offering ritual to the Lord. Nearby, animal bones cut in ancient ritual style confirm this was once a sacrificial altar, dating back nearly 3,000 years. One researcher said, voice-breaking, if Shiloh is the heart of faith, here we are hearing its final heartbeat. Those ashes are not just archaeological evidence. They are a sign. Faith may be buried, but it never dies. Even stranger, around the old temple gate, ancient olive trees keep sprouting anew, despite being cut multiple times during excavation. Beneath the churned earth, roots still spread as if searching for the way back. Botanists confirm this is a rare phenomenon, almost impossible in nature. For many, it has become a symbol of resurrection, like the Old Covenant, quietly coming back to life. The ashes, bone fragments, and olive roots may be coincidence, or they may be a whisper from heaven. The ancient covenant still awaits its fulfillment. Could this be the sign of the end times, when what seemed extinguished begins to burn bright again? As Scripture says, ashes will become a crown, and mourning turns to joy. Isaiah 61:3. In the heart of Shiloh's soil, they have found not just the ruins of an ancient rite, but a prophecy rising from the ashes. Faith is buried, but never lost. And when the wind blows through those olive fields, it seems the whisper of the covenant still echoes, calling people back before he returns. Third discovery, mysterious white pillar suddenly rises from the pool of Siloam. Some images, the moment they appear, make the whole world fall silent. And this time, it wasn't in Yellowstone or the Sinai Desert, but right in the heart of Jerusalem. The pool of Siloam, where Jesus once healed the blind man, has suddenly become the focus of millions of eyes. A white column of light rose from the still water. No smoke, no heat, just glowing, like the breath of water. Witnesses say the light didn't burn, didn't give off warmth. It stood motionless in the middle of the pool for 7 minutes and 16 seconds, then vanished like a silver mist. When the survey team arrived, they recorded a luminosity of up to 18,000 lux, equivalent to daylight, but with absolutely no infrared emission. Physicists from the Weizmann Institute had to admit it wasn't plasma, wasn't a chemical reaction, and definitely not an optical illusion. Right where the pillar appeared, a strange carving emerged on the ancient stone. Under ultraviolet light, the shape became clear. The letter Aleph, the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and the opening letter of God's holy name. No one knows how the symbol got there. The stone layer has been dated to over 2,000 years old. Experts are calling the phenomenon conscious light, a term that doesn't exist in science, but is mentioned often in theology. An elderly priest in Jerusalem simply whispered, "When the light touches the water, it's a sign he is returning." The words echo John 9, where Jesus said, "I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness." And by no coincidence, the pool of Siloam is where he once made the blind man see. Many believe the pillar wasn't just a physical phenomenon, but a reminder from heaven, a miracle of light in the last days. Because Scripture foretold, before the great and dreadful day of the Lord, light will pour down upon the nations. Joel 2:31. The question is, why, in a world drowning in chaos, amid war and crises of faith, does a fire that does not burn appear? Could the one who said, "Open your eyes and see," be preparing to illuminate humanity once more? And if this is the first sign of his return, are we ready to look straight into that light? Fourth discovery, the Shiloh altar, fingerprint of the sacrificial law. Amid the red dust hills of Shiloh, once Israel's first worship center, a small dig left archaeologists holding their breath. It started with a charred stone, but as the dirt was brushed away, they realized it was the base of an ancient altar, one that might hold memories of the Old Covenant. Do you feel a shiver thinking that where you're looking could be exactly where the Ark of the Covenant once stood? The first find stunned the researchers. Every remaining bone fragment on the altar came from the right side of the animal's body. Not a single left bone. Chemical analysis confirmed it. This was no random chance. Leviticus 7:32 records, "The right thigh belongs to the priest." Those ancient words suddenly came alive amid ashes over 3 millennia old. The soil layer around the altar held a mix of ash, incense, oil, and fired pottery shards, all dated to around 1050 BCE, the exact era when the priest Eli served at the Shiloh sanctuary. Notably, the altar was oriented precisely eastward, as prescribed in the Mosaic Law. "Every detail lines up too perfectly to be coincidence," said Dr. David Ben Eliyahu, the excavation leader. "It's as if someone left a fingerprint of faith." Images from the 3D scanner show the altar surface bears a crescent-shaped depression, like the spot where an offering bowl once rested. The ash and resin still carry a faint whiff of frankincense, the kind used only in worship of Jehovah. The whole team stood silent for minutes, no one speaking. In that air, it felt as if history was breathing right beneath the ground. When the scientific data was released, many moved to tears and called it the altar of the lost covenant, because after thousands of years of being forgotten, every bone fragment, every ash particle now retells the story of an unquenchable faith. Perhaps faith isn't only written in Scripture, it's also carved deep in stone, in soil, in the very place where God set his hand. Could it be that as Shiloh awakens from the dust, it's a reminder to our age that everything buried will one day be revealed, and when ancient signs are illuminated, it's also the moment heaven is preparing to open a new chapter for humanity? Fifth discovery, Pilate's casket, the buried confession. Jerusalem has once again left the world speechless. Just when archaeologists thought they'd mapped every secret of the ancient city, a new discovery near the Western Wall has forced them to rethink everything. A small bronze casket, crusted with centuries of dust, bears the engraved name of Pontius Pilate, the governor who washed his hands before condemning Jesus. The kicker? This casket appears in no historical record. Not a single Roman document ever mentions it. Can you picture it? Buried in Jerusalem's soil, a symbol of Roman authority lying inches from the holiest wall in Judaism. They say the moment the lid was lifted, a cold gust swept through the chamber and every lamp flickered. Inside, 3 gold bars, neatly aligned. Each bar is etched with a crown of thorns and faint Latin script, Manus milavo, I wash my hands. Experts descended immediately. Isotopic analysis confirms the alloy matches 1st century Roman metal, forged above 1,100 degrees Celsius, technology exclusive to imperial foundries. Stranger still, the Pilatus inscription wasn't hand-chiseled, but cut with a razor-sharp mechanical tool, the kind reserved for royal keepsakes. The question hangs in the air. Did Pilate order the casket himself, or did someone craft it for him to deliver a final message to posterity? As the casket was fully opened, seismographs around the site registered a faint tremor pointing toward the Mount of Olives, 2.4 kilometers away. No one dares call it coincidence. Many believe it was the Earth's reply from the very ground that once heard Jesus pray in Gethsemane. Biblical scholars were quick to grasp the deeper meaning: human sin buried at the foot of the law. 3 gold bars, emblems of greed, power, and betrayal, resting where worship once centered. And the words, I wash my hands, echo as the voice of conscience, something time cannot bury. When the ground quivered like a held breath, was it merely geology, or a reminder from above that every act, however forgotten by men, remains etched in the memory of the Creator? Perhaps that casket holds more than gold. Perhaps it holds humanity's final confession, awaiting the return of the Righteous One. 6th discovery: ancient water system, living stream, returns. Beneath the cobblestone streets of Old Jerusalem, where generations have walked unaware, a new find is turning heads in archaeology and theology alike. Something is still moving underground, quietly, warmly, and alive after thousands of years of silence. The ancient network of water tunnels, the mikvah purification pools of ancient Israel, has just been reopened after 2,700 years buried. What stunned researchers? The water in these basins is still crystal clear, odorless, and holds a steady 24 degrees Celsius, unusual for the surrounding environment. An archaeologist from Hebrew University said, "It's as if this water never died." In the dim glow of excavation lights, you can see the 7-step staircase descending into the pool, a number tied to perfection and cleansing in biblical tradition. Each step seems to tell the soul's journey from darkness to renewal. Ezekiel 36-25 once wrote, "I will sprinkle clean water on you, and you will be clean." Could this promise be unfolding in the 21st century? When researchers lowered recording devices deep into the tunnels, they caught a strange sound, a steady murmur, like the earth breathing. One expert described it, "It's not a leak, it's like living water, whispering." Some theologians call it the breath of water, a sign that the river from Ezekiel 47 may be preparing to rise. According to the Israel Antiquities Authority, over 37 mikvah pools have been uncovered in the Old City. All connect to a hidden underground network leading toward the Temple Mount. The latest ground-penetrating scans reveal narrow tunnels branching out like veins, as if forming a life source system for something about to awaken at Jerusalem's heart. Many believe this water is more than an archaeological relic. It's a symbol of spiritual life returning. As the ground trembles and the water breathes, many Jews see it as a sign of preparation, that the glory will return to the holy mountain. And if water can truly come back after 27 centuries, is the earth beneath Jerusalem ringing with an ancient prophecy that the day is near? These silent streams are telling a story, and perhaps only those still listening for the call from heaven will understand what is happening. And from there, the wonders began to spread across Israel, as heaven and earth raised their voices together. Anyone who has set foot in the land of Israel in recent months says the same thing. The atmosphere feels different. It's as if all of nature is stirring, brushing against the boundary between the seen and the unseen. From the hills of Galilee in the north to the Negev desert in the south, strange phenomena follow one after another, leaving scientists and the faithful alike admitting something is happening. If you think it's just coincidence, wait and see. Every sign, every echo, every beam of light, they're all coming together into a symphony of creation, and Israel is the very heart of that song.